We are going to continue our Spring Boot uh, understanding, building the REST API and everything, right? So last class we have discussed about the basic things. Today we are going to uh, let's you can say develop some all the CRUD operation. That means maybe not only get operation, maybe you can delete operation, you can create operation, you can update record operation, right? So this is the basics, and as we discuss, let us just build the your any quick start. We already cover, right?
Yeah,
So let's start with some learning curves, and they have a lots of learnings. So here we have a some tutorial, right? So let's complete anyone, okay? Not an issue. So we are going to build maybe anything. Let us yeah, lots of things you have. Good options key in this uh, documentation of this Spring. Lots of things as a code example, and what the each and every meanings of a particular annotations all are the place here. You have to just invest some kind of times here, and you found each and everything here, right? The good part is that
okay, so
well,
it's complete. It's complete.
each and every kind of things they have simple example, each and everything for you, right? You can just launch whatever. Let's say today we are going to explore any of them. Maybe let's say we are going to the REST API for complete, right? Like all the operations. So just like we have just click on anyone building the REST service, okay? And this just example. So what the example they have said? Okay, let's you want to build the get API, post API, put API, delete API, and any other thing, right? You can do, right?
Correct.
And this documentation just go through and read out whenever times, and finally say ki, whenever you're going to start these check your basic as a dependency, right? If you want to build your API, you need a web, you need a here say ki JPA, you want to store this information in somewhere, right? Maybe
Right.
some database required. So here let me explain what this say here, what we are going to do, we are going to the build some API, maybe uh, create API, get API, delete API, and these information are go and store on my server. Okay, maybe employee, maybe I am going to store the employee informations. Okay, I want to store employee name, ID, and roles, what their roles, right? In the particular database or particular file system anywhere, and maybe I want to create one employee, two employee, three employee, right? Multiple employee I
Correct.
can create, right? And later part I can ask, hey, give me the some employee, or hey, I want to update my employee some informations. Yeah, I want to delete this employee some, right? So these informations are all are supported by your application, right, in real times, right?
That's correct.
So this tutorial say right, you can build one for building such scenario you have to require minimum three kind of dependency. One, your web dependency. Web means due to that we can create the endpoint like get endpoint, post endpoint, rest endpoint, delete endpoint, every endpoint, right? And similarly, why need the JPA? JPA is another dependency which allow to store this information in some database. Okay, so which database we are going to use? Maybe MySQL database, maybe Postgres database, maybe Oracle database, any database. So first you have to install those database on the system to so that we can store information in database. Here say you can this tutorial say you can use the H2 database. So H2 is the, you can say, lightweight in-memory database. You don't need to install anything internally. They this is Spring Boot as a tool allow us to store information for couple of time, right?
Mm.
So, so here the objective is that we are going to develop one our service service is responsibility receive request from the user, uh, maybe from the multiple user, maybe from the uh, web browser, from the postman, from the curl, from any request, right? They receive request, And whatever they receive request according to the action, what the action you are want to get, then they reply you want to put, then they are going to store those information in a database here in the database, right? And maybe you want to store one information, two information, 10 information they are storing in the database, right? They create the tables and store for you, right? And sometime you want to get, they can read data from database and get you want to some data that not exists in the database, okay, hey, data not found, right? Throw exception,
Mm.
entity not found. So this complete applications, let's we are going to understand, okay. Here we are going to build one applications that capability receive request from the customer from browser, and not only receive information, even they can store persist in a any kind of database. So as of now, for learning, we are going to use the H2 database. H2 is a simple file-based small storage location, right? So that in future, instead of MySQL H2 database, you can replace the MySQL database, Oracle database, Postgres database, anything. Here, this software, this database can be changed from H2 to MySQL, right? H2 to Postgres. But your applications work fine for any database, right?
And the coding is exactly the same.
Same coding is exactly same. Here we are not going to write any kind of a syntax that are vary from the Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, or anything. By default, this is the Java enable. We are just writing a Java code. Java code
Okay,
is
okay. So
fit.
it's not like SQL code.
No, but it works for you. Our application, Java application itself create the SQL code for you, database table, each and everything, right?
Right, right. Understand.
So here, this is the good part. You're building the any Java-based application nowadays, or REST services, or any microservices. Each microservices can have a own database, right? A
Right.
database is not depend. Ki I'm only interested to the S2 database or MySQL or anything. So high level objective of the day, we are going to build one simple application that applications interact with a some kind of a database and ret maybe some store data, maybe some retrieve data, and this is my applications also receiving request from the browser or the postman and responding as well as, right? So let's me here also decide what kind of information I'm going to store here, right? Database. Let's good example. We are going to store the employee. Employee is a very basics kind of nature, right?
Right.
Employee information. The good option, we are going to create one employee. An employee have let's say name, age, maybe salary, maybe ID, anything you want, 1, 2, 3 field. I'm not going to take a lots of it because we are just going to understand the concept, right? So let's 2 or 3 fields we can go, right?
Right.
And the first things we are going to create a Java object model, and next what to do, and after that I say, okay, hey, we are going to say build the REST API. REST API for receiving data, storing data, and getting data, right? So all the things, whatever I'm explaining, all is already here placed. How to create your employee details, how to create your complete API, how to
Right.
communicate to the database. Each and everything this tutorial help us. I'm not going to explain anything new which you cannot understand. Each and
Uh,
everything you can understand here.
Ajay bhai, yesterday I was doing some exercise
Right.
where I created a object employee,
Right.
and with the new
Okay.
employee, I created different entry,
Right.
and
So let's
I
we'll
display them on the website. Okay. Yeah.
right, not an issue. You can do lot exercise.
Yeah.
How many times you are doing that? Just get more, build the confidence, right?
Right.
So let's as usual, whenever you are going to start any new application, go with the Spring Initializer, right? Let's go with the Spring Initializer, right? This is the basic place from where you can start building any new application, right? Correct?
Yes.
So let's give same as a Maven project. This is a Java already all discussed here, and default. Let's give the package name maybe GL, and here your let's employee management, right?
Right.
employee, employee, uh, employee management application, right? You can give any name, right? This is my
Right.
employee management. Means ki here we are going to create employee, get employee, employee detail means, and all the information, right? It's good.
That's right. Yeah.
Just this is the basic things. Whenever you start a new project, this is the one way. This is not the only way, you can say. While creating a Maven project, this is the one way, easy way for the Spring developer. But this is not the only one way. You can do from command line, you can do manually each and everything, right?
Okay. You can do other way too to create
Even
a project.
you can create these things complete from IntelliJ itself, right?
Mm.
So you can do. So this is the simple way. We are using the Spring Boot, so use the Spring Initializer. So this is the one way you can say. Not this is the only way. Please note.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay. I see. I see. Yeah. Yeah.
So as this tutorial circle, let's say we build the web, JPA, and S2. I'm just creating these three simple. So a dependency, I am going to web. Notice web, building the building web and RESTful API. Okay, so we are going to the build REST API. Okay, good. And again say JPA, right? Notice persist data in SQL store. Maybe Java persistent API using the Spring Data or something. So this is your why need this JPA for our application interact to the our application. This is the my service which are going to build. They want to communicate to the database right here. Database. They want to store some data. So how which we have to write some code, some insert query, some update query, right? So I am
Right.
not going to write. I am just let, hey, this is the my plugin. This is already written code by the Spring framework. I am just using this library. So I'm say, hey, JPA, can you save my data here? Now the JPA responsibility to create table and save data, right? And then later part say, hey, JPA, get me data. JPA responsibility go create query, run the query, get data and return to you. So why this clear? Why you are going to use the JPA? JPA just for our all the database operation.
Yeah. Database operation, and where do we need to create the
JPA.
endpoint? Uh,
Just
okay.
JP. What happened? I'm just okay. Already selected JPA, right? Web JPA and need a database. So here we are lots of database. You can use the MySQL database, right? You can use the Postgres database. You can use the lots of. So because first we have to install the software on it. So I'm saying I'm not going to use any specific software. Just I'm saying H2. H2 is the database that is provide all the basic operation about the database and the Java application, and this is the fast in-memory database. For this, you not need to install any kind of software. By default, they internally is small kind of 2 MB space take and support all the query for you, right? It's good.
So, so in this project, are we going to use H2 or JPA?
H2 database. H2 is the
H.
database. Okay, okay. Uh, H2 database. So now we have a three dependency. So here again, be not confusion. Here we are using Spring Web. Why? I want to create my REST endpoint, right? Where they can application interact with the user, right? Create, get, request. And why JPA? JPA is just communicate, talk to the database, talk to the database. Okay, let me
Mhm.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Hello. Uh,
Yes,
we are
I'm
good.
here. Yeah.
Okay, great. So here. So just explain why this three dependency is Spring Web for your building user interaction API service, and we are purpose to store information in database. So using the H2 database, and how this my application talk to this database, right? Then we are using this JPA, right? JPA, right? Clear
This is for the communication
for the
between
communication.
database.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear? So
But
these are the
H2,
things, these three
okay.
dependency we have to add. Any doubt, any confusion?
Yeah, I got it.
So our maybe this complete maybe tutorial we cannot complete in one class, maybe two class needed. Okay, but we can understand what we are going to just make one basic application that is going to manage employee record. They are storing the employee detail, they are getting the employee detail, they are updating the employee detail, they are deleting the some employee, right? For the uh, understanding purpose, we are just going to some basic attribute of the employee, maybe name or ID, right?
Right.
Similarly, you can do all other field. Okay, so we are good. Let's download. Let's generate project. Now the project is generated. Uh, where is that? No. Okay, now it started. Due to this some internet issue, now it's done, right?
Right.
So whenever you say by default you can get and just extract them, right? Now clear, this is your employee management, this is right, this is application. So just go, and this is the things I uh, just cut here and paste my the C drive so that I can aware ki here my project, right? Just
Right.
post in my folder and workspace and web development. I am just putting this new, right?
Right.
So this is the my new application ready. Now let's just open in the IntelliJ, right?
Right.
Now we are start. Now we are in a position to building our new microservice, you can say new API, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. Let it will take little bit time to just download all the depend. Now notice these are the application just downloaded. Employee management test,
Okay. So they're
it
downloading, right? Okay.
downloading. We have added three dependency just download from the Maven repository, and we are getting here. Almost,
So when you open it on IntelliJ, automatic download starts.
yes, this is the key feature of IntelliJ, you can say. IntelliJ read this Maven POM file, and in POM file, this is already you mentioned, what, notice you mentioned we need a JPA, data JPA, we need a web, we need a H2 database, right?
Yeah.
So whatever in the here you selected, whatever in here you selected, you can explore here, explore, and in this explore you have a POM file, and this is all the things. Notice the Spring Web, JTA, and Jet, right? So manually you can write this code in your XML file. So now this is not a only way. Simply I create simple project and I can put in this detail here, right?
Okay.
So this is the easy way. Whatever the thing JPA, Wave, and H2 database already in here. Now your application is synchron, right?
Mhm.
So let's close. By default, IntelliJ, no, okay, this is the Maven project. My responsibility to download and set all the path, right?
Right.
So
So
let's
you
good.
can also copy and paste the XML and it will download.
You can do anything. In this file, you can do any kind of modification, whatever you want, right? You can maybe add new dependency here, right?
Mm.
So notice whatever in this here, whatever I'm mentioning in this escape here, like your package name, application lab, Java 21 version, whatever you mention, all is everything in the POM file. Notice this is the my application name, right? Notice here,
Right.
this is the name of project to be written. This is the Java version I selected 21. This is the JPA I am selected. So whatever you are selecting in this window, by default they are going to place in the pom.xml file. Why pom? Because you say Maven project. due to this Maven project, they are creating the POM, right?
Okay.
So this is the basics. So let's move to the our application, right? So now all the codes are come under the source, right? Main
Right.
and Java, and this is the application. Now this is the our main code, right? If you
Right.
start this application by default start, but they are not they don't know any code, know any things, so they are look like just let's start. So server is started, but they are not any kind of endpoint. Your server is started, but they are not. You have not written any code. They are not doing anything. Server is started. That's done, right?
That's right.
Because now just waiting because you have not put any endpoint, but the server is running. Their server is started. There is no problem, right? Your Tomcat server
Right.
is started, right?
Right.
So notice here, due to the POM form XML, notice this server started on port 0808. This is the Tomcat server. And notice here, something new we found, like here, notice some kind of your uh, persistent information, right? Like default, which the database something, they are going to start something. So here internally, whenever I'm going to notice there, boot JPA, data JPA, right? Because why they? Because we are mentioned in the POM file.
Right.
So now our whenever server starts, server know key might be a developer going to do some database operation. Java persistent API. JPA is Java persistent API. Persistent means storage location permanently, right?
Right.
That's good. So this is the basic thing. So now let's stop the server because I have not written any API. Good. So let's do. So again repeat the first objective. We are going to the one applications, and for which employee, so we are going to create first one employee class, right? Employee class have a name. So that this employee class, our API can receive the request, get the request. Similarly, this employee object can be stored in the database, right? The first objective we are going to create your employee class. So let's do here, say write class employee. Okay, clear? And let's fill something, maybe along, maybe your ID field, okay, and maybe this and the private, okay, and private, let's
A string.
string name,
Yeah.
and let's one more field, private, private employee role, okay, and later whatever you think you can add here. I'm not in this, right?
Right.
That's good. So let's generate constructor and set a getter age and everything, right?
Right.
So let's I can say, hey, I need a. So here, this ID field, this is automatic generator, right? By
Right.
default, ID generally user not pass, user just when it's a system automatic generate, right? So for
Right.
that, our JPA, now we are going to use the how question again. Now this is the employee record. Okay, that's good. That's good. But how we can say, hey, JPA, now you have to inform JPA something. Hey JPA, can you consider this is as our database table name? Okay, this is the table. You can create one employee table in the table, right? Database, right? And
Yeah.
consider this is a three column, right? So how to inform? So here say, hey JPA, I am going to say this make as a entity. So whenever say entity, that means JPA understand, oh, this is the user want, this should be create one table for it, right? And say in table, this is the primary key. So say, hey, this is the ID table. This is the ID, and ID should be auto generated. So here say at the rate generated value. Clear? So this annotation give hint to our JPA to consider employee as a one of the database entity as well as, right? It's clear. Entity or database table, the same synonym, right?
Mhm.
So these annotations tell JPA, hey JPA, please consider this employee is a one Java class, but also consider this is going to store in the database and create table for that whenever I'm going to save, right? What table contain these three columns? Also, automatic it will happen. Not
Right.
automatically happen. JPA code which Spring provide they written. It's clear.
Right.
So let's generate the constructor. Okay. Let's I am say constructor. I am going to create constructor, and let's go to the setter getter, right? Let's go to the setter getter, set method, get method, right? Setter getter, okay.
Right.
And good option, you can
The
say
constructor ID is missing.
we say auto generated, right? Say
Okay.
automatic this will generate. Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This is auto generated. So I not include this ID, right? Good catch.
Right.
So here let's say two string just for understanding. Okay, if two string just print the our two string. Okay,
Yeah.
as of now this is simple. It's good.
Yeah.
A best option whenever you're creating any entity model, you have to also override two more thing. What like i- generally your equal and hash code, right? Why these? Whenever you are going to make some kind of you want to store this information in hash table or hash set, they maintain the unique feature, right? Your hash table, your hash set, your data should be unique, right? So in this case, how our system know your data unique or not unique, which field? So here we have to initialize the equals and hash code method, id and name and field base, right? So this is the good practice. You can add this to more. Okay. So this is now you can create the employee class. So good part in this today class, we are going to create a class. Manually, you can create like a constructor, setter getter, equals method, hash code method, toString method. And notice already we have learned one more thing, Java record. You just clear record class. This all not needed by default Java given to you, right? So later part will discuss those things as well, right? As of now, just understand this the basic way, right? Till now, any confusion?
No.
Good. So now at least we from this annotation we have covered two things. One, our JPA communication and our database design done here. Here say our database is going to create one table employee and these are the column would be, right? And how who will do? I just tell our JPA, right? Now JPA is ready to persist anything, right? So this is whatever I am written here, same as you found in the tutorial. Nothing I am writing any extra. Okay. Notice first this is the employee object created. Mark as a notice here, entity and ID and generated value and constructor and setter. They need a default constructor as well. We will add, right? And all the equals method, hash code method. I am not writing nothing anything. Each the meaning mention what the entity. Entity means JPA mention they are going to store data store, right? ID, role name, what the mention. Each and anything just go read later part, right? It's clear.
Yeah, I know the hash code you already discussed a while ago.
Many times,
So
yes.
that's for the uniqueness.
Right. Okay, great. So now let's come now how in the class something in the Spring Boot application. Now your database is ready, and now your JPA is ready. But how JPA know कि this is your class as a considered as a data storage mechanism, right? So we are going to write one more my interface and then say, hey JPA, consider this is my class as an employee to store database and also consider this is my primary key. This is my ID part, right? So these two things we have to inform our JPA as well as, right?
Right.
So how to do that? In this case, we have to write one interface. Let's say employee repository, and okay, that one interface extend another interface, right? So here say we can extend your JPA. Now we are going to use this uh, Spring Framework class JPA repository, right?
Right.
So this is our Spring class, and now Spring class say, hey, ask this is my employee class. This is considered as a data, and primary key is the long data type. So here say long as a my primary key, right?
Right.
Done. We have not writing anything. Just say this is the interface, just nothing. Okay. Now our Spring Framework JPA understand you have already written one employee repository for me. I understand that this is the class which I can consider as a data storage or data gate. You are not going to write anything. All the just indication, right? So notice here, this is just indication, nothing yet. Click. So now
Okay.
let's move.
Okay.
Now almost we have developed two part. One is the database completed design and JPA completed communication channel. Now we come under the build API, our service, right?
Right.
Till now, no confusion, no doubt.
Okay. So uh,
Yes.
yeah. So extend JPA repository. We just put long, but no variable name.
Just say that this is the employee class. You just consider this is the model. This is the object which are going to store in the database.
Right. Okay.
This model, which column you consider as a primary key. So I say that this is a long data type is my primary key, right? Key
Okay.
column.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a two field you mention here. Here in the interface, you have not writing anything. By default, each and everything you can get all the implementation, each and everything. So later part we
Okay.
will discuss. Okay.
Mhm.
Till now, okay.
Yeah.
So now let's come our build API, right?
Right.
So let's build our controller, right?
Yeah.
Our employee controller, right? Employee class employee controller. Controller means the class which receive the first request, right? From the user. Now we are going to build service that class receive the request from your user, right? We are going to build service. Now we are going to the build service. The service responsibility receive request from user, right?
Mm.
So I'm writing one class and how say, hey Spring Framework, this is considered as a my class where user request can come, right?
Right.
So how say this by default simple class. Simple class cannot become your service server. Cannot say serve any request until you have to inform, hey Spring, please consider this is as my first class where request come, right? So how say I say this is the my controller class say, hey, this is the my REST controller. Okay. So whenever any REST application request come, get API, request API, post API, request come on this class. It's clear?
Yeah.
And in this class, uh, maybe customer calls some kind of URL, REST app URL, get URL, put URL, everything, right?
Right.
So let's say here I am a simply get URL. So say let's say get for getting you just use the word get mapping. Okay, and here say mapping URL. Here say slash employees. Okay, employees. Okay, employees. This is the URL. Okay, and here say public. I want to all employee. Okay, list all. Okay, uh, yeah, get all my right, all employees. Okay, this is my get employee. So whenever more than one employee, generally using the list, right? List of employee, correct?
Right.
You cannot return only one employee, say list of employee. A return as of knowledge null. Okay. Now basic infrastructure ready. Whenever you are going to start your application, now your one endpoint exposed, known as a employees. Someone say employees, you receive the null value. Or you can say, I want to create one employee object here, list of list of employee, and say, hey, employee list, just create a new array list. And now all are going to Java code, right? You are familiar with, right?
Right.
And here, for example, I'm just create one employee as of now. Say employee, employee, equal to name, after name I can, employee here I can name pass string or name. Let's on, and let's role is the ID. Okay, and I can say, hey, employee list dot add. Okay, list dot add, and add my one employee, right? And I
Right.
can run this employee list. Okay, this is the one way. As of now, basic. We are manually writing it. But currently, I'm not writing this from database. As of now, simple from this method. As of now, this one, right? So let's test this code at least work or not, right?
Right.
Let's test it. And then let's open the postman, right? Now we can postman test it, okay? All right, done. Server is started. Yes, there is a no issue. Server is started. Notice here, notice by default when you start, now they create one for a database here. Your username as a. So by default, now JPA create one database for me. I'll talk about that later. So let us check my local host. My what is this? My URL I made. I made
Employee.
this is the URL employees, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just paste here and check we are getting employees or not. So we are getting one employee. Notice ID null, John and ID, right?
Right.
That no problem. This employee, this URL you can test from your browser, curl, everything, right? There is no problem. Notice we can get this employee detail, right?
Right.
As of now, it's work. But my intention, this information must be come from the database, right?
Right.
So why not save this data in the database, right? How you can get? So as of now, let's add some default information in database. Okay, whenever database created, I want some set of data exists, because I don't want this is the hard coded data come from here. Why not this value come from my database, right?
Right.
And so I'll do. So whenever my server start, at that time I want, let's keep 5 employees stored in my database, right? As of now. So that my get API, I'm not writing hard coded here. I'm get from the database, right?
Database. Right. 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 Everything will be pulled from database.
Database. So let's first in the database you have to write data. In the database also blank. So at least we or my script or my application are going to write a database, right? So I'll do. So let's think. How can do? We can do maybe from the user or from background. So let's understand both ways. Okay, how as a background, as a maybe admin, as a my file system, anywhere how I can put data in the database, right? Later part we can discuss how we can get data from maybe from postman here. I can pass my employee detail, right? And this information goes to the database, right? Both things will go, right?
Uh,
As of now, it's okay. As if any problem, any question, any doubt?
yeah. I understand the workflow.
Okay. So I'm going to create, whenever you want to send data from the browser, from the URL, then you have to not get method, you have to use the post method.
Post.
right? So
Yeah.
let's create one post endpoint. So instead of get, I can say I'm going to create a at the rate post mapping. Okay, and
Post
post
mapping. Yeah.
right post mapping slash and say this is the employee. Okay, post mapping and oh sorry, you can say public and just method say employee create, right? Create, and this is the simple. Okay, the question here, I want to get employee from this object here, right? Itself here, right? So here, this my method receive as a employee object, right?
Mhm.
This employee object going to save in a database. So how do I save database? Question is that already I have a repository, so I can say, hey, I need a repository object. So here say I am going to create repository, my
Right.
repository object, and okay, and this should be private and final, right? Any variable, private and final, that can be initialized in the constructor, right? So this is the constructor initialization done, right? So now you have a repository, and this repository say, okay, hey repository, can you just save my employee? So this save method is not written by me. Notice this save method. This is my repository object. Repository object have no method. This is inherited from this interface, right?
Right.
So due to that, I can say, hey, employee database, let's save employee. And whatever the save, just return them, right? So this is your
Right.
post mapping. Question is that key, whatever this, uh, how I can pass those data here and send them, and how my Spring framework understand this is the employee object you want. So whenever you want any user input from browser to your application, you have to inform your Spring framework, right? Hey, Spring, can you read data from the browser? Okay. So you have to use another annotation like we want to read the request body. Means here I want to use the HTTP body request. Here I'm saying, here this is the body, and I want to just put plain JSON file right here. And
Right.
this is the information I can put, right? This is the information I want to put. I don't want to put the ID surely, right? But I want to put like here Smith, right? And this is the doctor. Okay,
Right.
great. So this data is the post come under the body. So how we have to say, hey Spring Framework, whenever you want to receive some object, I want to say this is the employee object. Also, they have to we have to inform. So how we
Right.
can say here we have to use again how to talk to the Spring Framework using the annotation. So which annotation we are going to use? You are going to use again. This is the already mentioned, lots of annotation mentioned, but here I am going to use this your body annotation, right? So what I'm
Right.
going to say here say, hey, whatever the request user say, request take request body. The request body consider as an employee object. And let's just check out S out here employee. Okay. So notice whenever I am sending a post request, this annotation, this annotation tell Spring Framework, hey Spring, can you receive all the value from this postman? And whatever that they written here, internally you can create one employee object and set all the value and give me those details. Here I'm not going to here look manually you're going to create employee object and passing the name and ID, right? These things already taken care by your framework. Even you don't need, right? Directly you receive the employee object. This employee, what the value? Whatever you are setting from here, Smith and Doc. How it's possible? Due to this annotation. Annotation means you are telling, hey, Spring Framework, you will do this. How annotation? No, you have to read the body because you mentioned this is a body annotation, right? It's
Yeah.
clear. And let's stop and test. I am able to save this information in database 9, right? Let's start the server. It's any doubt? Post API?
Yeah. So return repository dot save. How that
This
works?
this is JPA now start his action. JPA say, okay, you have employee object, give me, I am going to save your database.
Okay.
Automatically taken care by all the database operation. This internally create insert query and save each and everything. Right?
But don't you have to open the database object like H2?
I will show you how to open the database.
Okay,
I'll
okay,
show you.
okay.
I'll show
Okay.
you. So let me test it. Okay.
Hmm.
We'll show H2 database. So H2 database have some URL. Let me check. Spring H2 database URL. You can just Google Spring H2 database URL. You need some URL. You just open it. This is H2 database URL. You can just open anything. Okay, you can do so any. Okay, this is the H2 database. My already you have to. Okay, you have to. You can do. You can do. Oh, just we have to add this and okay, you have to enable this. Okay, let me enable you. Okay, in the application property you have to just enable I want to view the Spring database, right? So let's go here. Okay, let's first check our application. Yes, and let's I just uh, test the Postman. Now this is a Postman post API. I want to save the Spring. Okay, let's send it. Send. And notice this is the data save, and notice that in the server log I receive employee null, Smith, and data, right? Notice, but whenever data save and after that we return your employee ID 1, data is Smith and doctor.
Right,
So here properly the data is stored in the database and ID generated.
right,
Okay, so question, uh let me first show your database, at least stop them. And whenever you want to give some configuration in this main folder, in main folder we have a resources folder. Resources have a one folder application property. This is the file where you have to mention I want to enable my H2 console, right?
right, right,
And after that, uh, let's start. Okay, this is the one thing you have to add your database. Okay, so now your database is enable. You can look the browser here. Notice now you can just write what say they here say write H2 console. Okay, notice slash H2 console.
H2
Just
console.
you go database, and this is the path you have to mention. This is the path mention also, right? Database path. So I have to use this. So go to the browser,
Right,
go to the browser, go to the browser. Here say like here, and say instead of employee, I say H2 database. And now your H2 database come, right? And here also here they give me this is the your path, database path. Okay, just copy this and save your path this right here, and just test connection. It's successful and connect them, and your database is connected. And notice the your one employee is created, and select the query and run them. No data, right? So let me I again hit the postman request, right?
right,
Check the data, and now one Smith created, and check the database. Now database, and again run the query. Notice data created, right?
right.
Even if let's say another team finance, okay, and send the
Right.
request. And you notice here in the database, go to the database and again test, run. Two data created, right? So this method, your repository data save are going to do everything for you. They are connecting database, creating query, inserting data in the data, right? This is the power of your framework. You are not writing any insert query because just using the existing library, right?
Now, how can I create another data uh,
You
from
can
here?
just use the annotation and tell me, "Okay, I want to save." Okay, So let me just remove this hard coded part. I want to get all the data. I don't want to say I want to don't see here, right? No, I want to see this information my response here, right?
We can also create data from Postman.
Yes, you can do. Here you can also insert value something. Yes. Here I am creating data from Postman, right?
Mhm.
So let me here instead of say here say hey employee repository, I have a repository. So here repository say hey repository, I want to all employee. So say dot find all. This is the method given by your Spring framework. Now I'm not writing any hard code. This method, whenever I say employee get mapping, they return the
Right.
all data, right? So let me stop them and again restart. So here we are creating the employee data, and here you are getting data from database. Notice I'm not writing any hard code, right?
Okay, okay. Find all. Yeah.
Just say, hey, just give me the all the record.
Find all is a part of
Your JPA. JPA given this
JPA.
way.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, you're correct. So now server is started. No, let's start this. So notice now our application almost started. This is the part in memory database. So whenever you're going to connect, you have to change this database details. This is the database detail, you right? Yeah.
Right.
Because you are using the temporary database, right? Just you can use
Right.
this. You can use this. You can again go refresh them here, and you have to connect with this latest URL, right? Connect them. Now database created. Go to the table. This is the table. Select and run. No data available, right? I want to create some one thing. Notice from the browser, from the browser, from this browser, you can apply the get request. Here you can get and send. Get request you can easily do from your browser. From this browser you can do get request, but from browser you cannot do post request. Notice I'm not getting any data, right?
Correct.
Question is that key how to the for data post body you have to use the postman or curl or swagger another thing, right? So I am going to use the first create data. I'm going to use a post map and put the data. One I'm pushing the team, right? One data created team for. And now let's go and check here my browser get endpoint, right? So now let's say we are getting some error. Okay? Yeah, we are getting some error. What? So here say application employee. What say Hibernate save database. Let me check. API not responding. Say, hey, I want to get API. Okay, internal error. What internal error say? Let me check. Server logs here. Server logs. Something we missed something. Let me where from getting exception. Let me read out. Create connection. Session IMPL. No default. Okay. No default constructor. I'm going to mention no default constructor found. Right.
Right.
So because we missed to add the here need the default constructor. Right. Constructor that is the default non-select. Right. Just stop and again start. So whenever you're getting some error, now be careful with the error, right? Error your developer friend, right?
Right.
They hurry. Why I'm not getting? Just be carefully read the error. What error? Almost give the hint what you have to missing, right?
Right.
So now started and now let's get test endpoint. We are not getting any data. Let's I'm going to post data using the post endpoint. Hey team, just post them. I am posting data and again let's get them. dedicated. Okay, so I'm getting one data, and even you can browser, you can
গল্প করবো না?
this, you can getting data,
গল্প করবো না?
right? So similarly, let's see, I am going to post one more data. Same. This is the IT guy. I am going to add them, and let's add the IT. This is the finance department. So you can
আপনি
multiple
খাইছেন?
data I can add,
খাইছেন
right?
আপনি?
And notice, let me check our get endpoint. Okay, okay. Here you have to change the postman. Okay, post and change the same. Okay, and Sam is your IT guy and created the post. Now new record created. Let me change one more. Okay,
Yeah,
and any any is the maybe physician. Okay, anything you can
right.
create. So here we can create two in three by one by maybe Kenneth. Okay, Kenneth is the DevOps guy. Okay, you can add. So now we have created multiple record, and now you can go test API. Test API return. Now you have to all this method. Or one,
Right.
two, three, four. Even you can test on the browser and say, hey, I want to get all this info. And one team, Sam,
It's coming
any
from database. Yeah.
database. Let's check database. Oh, our database, yes. Let's run this query. Okay, you have to again connect them. Okay, I have to check this database link. Uh,
And can you uh,
hmm.
show me again how you open the database the first?
Just
Because
let's. This is the whenever you start server, they give the URL slash
okay,
console. Notice, go to this console and the browser and just type this. This is your HTTP and this is your. Just I'm close them. I'm just yeah, okay, close them, right? And go to this your employee here. You say just select H2 URL, right? Here,
okay,
open. Whenever you open, this screen come automatically. Here, pass the your database path. The by default, I have not given any manual path. You can do manual path, will do. But by default, this is the path given by your server. This is the you have to path this path, right?
okay, yeah,
Go to the here and just here, pass them and just connect them. Now your database is connected, right? And I can check the query. This is the table. This is the table you created. This is ID, name, field, role, right? And
okay,
this is
yeah, yeah,
and just click on the table here, select start from employee and run them. This is the data you are getting, right?
okay, okay, yeah, yeah,
So this data, maybe you can create one more. Let's say I'm going to using the post. Always creating data, you have to use the post API, right? And pass
right,
some like Anis, okay?
right,
Is the security test,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay. And just send them. So let's check the database. Run the query. Now notice, okay, come.
yeah,
And maybe similarly, let's check from the all data. Localhost, localhost employees, right? So here you
right,
are getting the one data, two data, and finally this is the data. So this is the one way you can develop endpoint that get all data, right? Why getting all? Because you have developed the endpoint, they return all. But I don't want always all. I want to only honest, right? Yeah, one year,
right,
2 year, three, right? It's specific. So I'll we have to pass the ID. Let's say I want to pass ID. I want to get data from ID, right?
right,
You can do. Okay. So how will do? Let's say develop endpoint. So let's say develop. I'm not all. I'm just by ID. So let's. This is the get endpoint. I just say I'm not find interested all. I'm say key slash. I need a ID here. Okay, ID field. Here say get one, right? Get
right,
one, and here should be your long ID, right? And here
right.
say uh dot find by ID. Find
Find my
by
ID. Yeah,
ID. Here you pass your ID. Okay. Notice the compiler is not happy because you return only one. So here say what this method return. Let me check this. What this method return? Find me method return optional t. You have a two option. Here you can say here instead of list you say optional. Okay, this is the one option. Option. Okay, this is the optional t. It's okay. Okay, but instead
Mm.
of optional you can simply say employee t. Optional, why optional? Might be passing id, that id not exist. Yeah, that be exist. Two options, right?
Right.
Whenever you are passing id, this find by method can be possible they get you the id, or might be possible this id incorrect. Yeah, let's in the case of our database we have only valid ip 12345. I pass the 10, no data exists, right? So in this case you have to return optional. Okay, and the question is
Right.
that how, again here you are passing some parameter, so you have to again inform rest, hey rest, please consider this id as my input, right?
Right.
So again we have to use the annotation for your, just close them, and using this again path variable, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying, hey, I'm going to say this is the my path variable. Okay, path variable, right? So
Right.
this annotation tell ki whenever someone calling this get endpoint slash id, this id value map to this id value, right?
Right.
So let me stop. And one thing here, this is the problem in the in-memory database. Whenever your server stop and whenever server start, all the data are crashed. They are not our permanent database, just temporary database we are using, right? So
Right.
whenever server start, all the data is you created that lost, right? So good option later classes we have to understand this H2 database. We have to give my specific path. Notice here we are in the case of here here in the case of your path, here we put something temporary path, right? So here we can give some kind of C drive, D drive specific path so that your database cannot clean up. Later part we can understand.
So
And as
is
of
it
now,
clean right now? Is it cleaning up?
yes, clean up by default
Why?
because you can, eh? Because this is
Why?
the temporary in-memory database, right? Until your application is running, they can store data. Whenever it's starting server, by default they understand they are going to create a few fresh database for you, right? As of now. Okay.
Right.
So let's again. So one thing here might be you can think why not whenever our database is started, at least 10 record must be created, right?
Right.
Or 5 record, 2 record. So you can do those as well as. So if I'm starting this application and I'm going to call the get, I'm not getting any data because my data we are using the S2 database. S2 database by its default nature is the in memory means until your server is running, they persist your data. Anytime you can ask get run. But once your server down, they are flashing all the storage data, right? Because they have created here. Notice temporary file created one temporary database here. Notice temporary one ID generated for you.
Right.
Here in this path, I can change some C drive, D drive hard code. So in this case, they are not going to generate new. In the later classes, we have to take. Okay, how to say, hey, Spring framework, don't flush all my data, right?
Right.
So as of now, I'm server started and I'm going to hit this get endpoint. Get endpoint. I'm not getting any data, right? That means we
Right.
have to
Right.
first again create some post API. So I have to create here post and create some data right here. Create some data. Now I data
Right.
created, and again I'm going to get. So I can getting the data, right.
Right.
So similarly, I have to create one more data like post, and let's key say here Riyadh.
Hmm.
Okay, save and created, right. I am
Right.
created two engineers. So if I go to again get, so they get me all two record, right? Got one, got two, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I maybe I want to only two record. So I say I have created one another endpoint, not get not employee, but slash employee number, right? So here say slash, here slash, just pass here like a 2. Okay. So they return the only employee which is the 2, right?
Yeah.
Here you pass just 1. So they return just 1, right?
Right.
Here pass let's 6, but 6 not found. They were not getting any data. Null, right?
Right.
So here this is the one option you are returning null, or you can say why not say some message like employee not found or something, right?
Right.
Later classes we will to discuss. Okay, how say key employee not found some message, right? But all these
Right.
things we have. So as of now it's clear. So one thing let's here clear. Whenever my server is start, I want to start at least 5 employees should be created, right? So this is the one thing also our Spring Boot provide. Whenever on the server startup, you want to store some data in the database, right? So you can
Yeah.
do. So how you can say on server startup, I want to do something. So lots of approach Spring have. So today we are going to just discuss one approach. What is the one approach? Whenever say just I am writing one class and say this is my class, just data loader, right? Default load default data, right?
Right.
Default data. Okay. The question, whenever I'm going to load default data, how this class Spring Framework know okay, this is we have to do something. Okay, how to inform something. So for that, we have to again use some kind of a Spring Framework utility help, right? What is Spring Framework say? Whenever you want to load some data, so you have to use this annotation at the configuration. So
You
whenever you
want to
say at huh,
load.
load means whenever server start, at that time I'm going to put some data in the database, right?
Right.
So here I say ki this is my configuration class. Means ki at the server time, Spring Framework consider ki you have a configuration class and I am going to load some data. Uh, you have this bean annotation and here you can use this. This is the new class we are going to use this, which is the class name as a command line runner. Okay, this is the class you have to just maybe uh, initialize in it. Init the inis, initialize lies database. Okay, and here you have to save some data. So for saving, you need a JPA to save data. You already you have a JPA. This is a repository. You can just take this is a repository. I say, hey, I need this repository object. Okay,
Right.
repository, and I am going to save data as the database. So here just say, so notice this is the interface. This is the okay, what I am written so bad. Command line runner. Command line runner. This is the interface. So notice this is the one interface given by functional interface, right? A functional interface we know we can implement with the lambda expression, right?
Right.
So we can say, hey, I am going to just return maybe functional interface is the lambda expression, right? Here lambda expression. And lambda expression say, hey repository can save some data. Save. We have to let's give want to save 10 record. Yeah, 20 record, any record, right?
So why
Here.
did we use lambda here,
Because this is
specifically?
the this method return the functional interface, right? So we have to provide the implementation class, right? The
Okay.
implementation
Okay.
class can be possible with the one of the lambda expression, right?
Right. Right.
We already know that, right? So here's the
Yeah.
key. Once you read the Java, easily understand why you are writing in the lambda expression because you have to return the object of command line runner, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. So here say let's I create some 5 employee. Okay,
Right.
employee one equal to new employee. Here say pass like first Smith is the DevOps. Okay. Similarly, let's create I for 5 employee. Okay. Employee 2, 3, 4, 5. Any number of employee you can initially create, right?
Right.
A net. Okay. Team
these are the data that it will create at the end of at the
starting
beginning
up the
of the.
server. Starting up the server.
Okay.
Paul, Mary. Because each time we have to first testing, I have to use the postman data, right?
Right.
Sir, doctor, okay, anything. So here I say, hey, you have to create this. They can understand the okay, list. List also understand. You have both options: save, save all. So you can choose save or save all. Save all I can say and pass some list of. Okay. So list of we can pass employee one, employee two, employee three. All the employee they are going to the save, right?
Right.
Employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, employee 4, employee 5. Okay.
But this save all, this is coming from a JPA.
JPA, yes, it is all database communication we are going to the JPA. Okay, repository. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So,
Yeah.
so this is the way we can. Now, whenever I start server, by default, this configuration going to load this and run this information in your database by default.
Right.
Always. So why is it whenever fresh database become and sometime whenever your application start, you master data you want to load in the database, right?
Right.
Because some applications require some prerequisite data. Okay. So those master data, initial data you want to whenever the server start, at that time you want to this information you can read from Excel, from database, from file, from anywhere, right? Now here
Right.
you the file system read all the information, right? And store in the
Right.
database, right? So this is the
Right.
very sometime help whenever you have a initial data where you want to load, right? So let's test.
Right.
Whenever I am running, so this command line interface are useful when on server startup you want to store some information in database, right?
Right.
So let me check all are the server startup, JPA done, installation done, database done, server started, right? So
Yeah.
let's I'm not putting any data. Let's check our database, right?
Okay.
And go to this my simply say hey I want to all employee. So notice this is a 5 employee already created.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And even a check database, go database and refresh and figure out our URL. This is for the just learning purpose. Later part we have to change this, right?
Right.
It's the database
But
URL.
when we have a fixed path, we don't need to start in the when
Again,
we
yeah,
start the server, we don't need data, right?
right. No, not needed data. So notice just select the database employee and run the query. Your data, these are the data. So at least sometime you want our server startup some data go to load. So this interface you can use, which is the command line runner. So what the here beauty is that notice here each and everything we have to inform Spring Framework. Here say, hey Spring Framework, if you not write this configuration and bin this annotation, they are not doing anything. Please be note. Until you are writing the bin means what happened, they are going to create one object for this class. So internally they are calling this code, right? So
Right.
this annotation is a very important in a Spring Framework to understand. This annotation give the magic. They are not doing magic, but this just tell the Spring Framework now you can start completing my this code, run my this code. Because we are not just here. Notice all the just we can create classes, we can create the method. We are not calling them. We are just telling, hey Spring Framework, you facilitate how this code should run, right? Notice I'm not
Right.
calling this employee all method. Spring facilitate they running them. I want to employee slash ID1. Let's now test it. I want to employee slash 3 and only employee third data I can get. Notice
Right.
employee maybe I want to 2. Only second employee I can get, right?
Right.
Maybe I want to all. Just I not pass anything. and I can get all, right?
Right.
And these all informations are available, come from the database, right?
Right.
It's till now any confusion? So at least we have developed all endpoints, specific one endpoint, and create endpoint. Let's say I want to delete one end record, right?
Right.
So notice Postman given option here to, you can say, use the delete. Okay. So let's do it. So here I'm not going to interested to here like a here say simply I want to delete mapping. So here you can say get mapping instead of say at the rate delete mapping. Okay. So here say ki now I want to delete one. Okay. Delete.
Right.
Okay. And here say same instead of here say dot delete. I say hey delete by id, I pass the id and this id must be deleted, and this method delete by id I think not returning void. This is the void method. Notice this is JPA class all the thing, right? So I
Okay.
have
Okay. It's
not
a
return,
void. Okay.
this is the void, so you have to write the void. Okay. This is
Right.
the, again what this say, delete method side effect. Okay, that not return return, right? Okay.
Okay.
So now this is the, you develop another endpoint, that is the delete. Very
So they are not when you say endpoint
mm,
delete mapping.
mm.
Uh, it's only the URL, but they're not calling the method itself.
You're calling this is the method, no? This is the method delete method. I'm say, hey JPA
Okay.
repository, delete the employee by this ID, right?
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So let me test. So these are the developing endpoint is a very simple because all the things, all the infrastructures are already placed by the your existing framework, right?
So it's only few practice.
Few practice needed, right? Because here just you're writing one delete method. You know how to delete works. Delete API, maybe write your own code or you can use the JPA framework,
Right.
right?
Right.
So let we start this. So here notice we have built a four endpoint, one endpoint to getting all the employee. So what I written code? I say, hey repository, give me the all data, right?
Right.
A question is that ki how my repository know ki which table I am going to read, right?
Right.
Notice this is the repository I created, and here repository, in this repository it's like you can go use the employee table. So due to
Right.
that, I written this line. Here just informing this is the repository for employee table. So whenever this
Right.
repository say get all, so they are reading this table. How this is the table? Because here you mention this is the entity. Entity means table. In employee class, you mention this is the table, right?
Oh,
So
it's a
this is
table. That's why. Entity.
if you not mark this, this is unaware that this is not a table, right?
Hmm.
It's now let's check. So let's first check get all. I am getting all. Yes, all employee gets. Let's say I'm going to remove the ID 4. So let's
Right.
keep /4 /4, and I'm getting data fourth employee, right? I'm getting right.
Right.
So let's I'm going to change just operation here, change the delete and send them. Data deleted. Let's again test this 4 employee. Again get and check. Notice null data because if employee 4 is deleted. And even you check all, just say here all and done there, then check 1, 2, 3, and after that 5, right?
Right.
Because the 4 number of record you have to delete it. This is you can say 1, 2, and 3, and after that 5 because 4 you deleted, right?
Right.
You can check from database. Database is also deleted. So database again need your URL. This is the URL here. Okay. Path. Later class I will discuss ki instead of here just for initial days, so we can use later part we can say fix C drive some path, C drive ABC any particular folder, right? So those just one time login and connect, and notice this is employee table and select them, and this is the 4. Let's say I want to remove the 3. Just go hey, I want to delete operation. Here I want to slash 3, I want to delete, right?
Right.
Same here, deleted, and again check the database, run the query, now 3 deleted, right?
Right.
Even you can use this get endpoint all, you are getting the nothing. Okay, here say no, no, I want to slash 3, check, no data found, right?
Right.
Notice this is the complete your endpoint. How our compiler know which end method you are going to call? Because here say indication employee slash id. This is the URL become your, right? This is the become URL employee slash your id.
Right.
So sometime one more operation we miss. What happen? I want to maybe this is the employee. Let's say employee. This is the employee two. I want to change some field. I want to employee two. Why not? Oh, employee two deleted. I okay. So let's get employee one. Okay. Let's say I want to change this employee one from dev to tester. Right.
Right.
How to operation update? So for update, you have to use this method put. Right. The put
Right.
up we are going to use. So let's we have to develop first, right? We have to develop put endpoint, right?
Put means change.
Put means change. Okay. So similarly, like here create. Similarly, this would be look like your say, hey, it should be like a not post. It should be put put mapping. Here say we are going to change specific employee. So this is the your employee ID, right? This is the employee ID, right?
Right.
You need a employee ID as a parameter, right?
Right.
Employee ID as a parameter. But which employee you want to remove them, right? I mean, oh sorry, update them. So this method maybe take the method name update. So whenever I'm going to update, we need the one employee object which you want to change the value and which ID, which is the primary key of that. So here, similarly, let us example in the case of our here post, I want to go update this record employee Smith to something, right? So
Right.
you have to pass here is here you change. Okay, this is the name of Smith. Smith. I want to not a developer. It should be tester. Okay. I want to test. Change it. So whenever I set, we have to implement this post. If you're not putting, say, hey, this URL not found something. Notice, could not found the request, right? Because till now I've not developed this endpoint, right?
Right.
I put URL. So let them to develop. So here say put and all things whatever I'm learning, each and everything here replace nothing. This is the get all method, post mapping, this is the get mapping, this is the put mapping, right? This is put have a one employee and one in long ID. Okay, so in this way
Right.
you can update them. So how to update? Whenever you're going to update, first you figure out this ID exists or not. Whenever you're going to update, first you have to check the particular record exists or not, right? So first you have to check here repository, give me find by ID. First, give me this ID exists or not, right?
Right.
Okay. If you are getting some value, if data present or not present, right? So here might be case. You know, optional have two options. Maybe this ID exists or this ID not exist, right? So you can check if ID employee, optional employee, okay? Just employee, okay? So existing employee, existing employee, right? If this existing employee, if existing employee is present, right? Is present, then I can update. Else I cannot do anything, right? Right?
Right.
I cannot do anything. The question is that how to update. So simply whatever the existing employee, dot just change. Okay. Question from optional how to get the employee. You can say okay. Dot get. Okay. Get
Good. Yeah.
data, right? Already we are read the your this is the new employee to update. This is the new employee. Okay. Here say whatever the no, this is the DB 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 employee. So now you can check if exist or not first. If exist, then I can update. Else say is say maybe else uh yes employee not found, right?
Right.
This system dot out dot println. Whenever you write system dot out dot println, it will only print on the server console. Okay, employee not found. Employee not FOU under found, right?
Yeah.
This is the one thing. Uh, or here once if found, then we can do what we can do. You can say if this is the found, then I am going to update them, right? So I'm going to say,
Right.
hey repository, can you update? Uh, what the option they have update? Employee dot find all save. Save, I think save work for both. Save if you exist record, they are going to update. I think they just use the same method, right? Use some same method. Same method is for both update and visualize. They DB employee. Okay. So question, whatever the new value receive from here, this is the new value, right? New
Right.
employee data. So whatever the new employee data, I can say, hey, existing database DB data dot set might be employee want to change the name, right? So I can say, hey, new employee data get name, right? Get name. Similarly, I can say, hey, DB data dot set role, right? DB want to role.
Right.
Here say new data dot get role. Notice what you are doing. Here, whatever the user send request, those requests I take and update in this our existing database and say, hey, go update the database, right? Is it clear? Any confusion here?
Uh,
Yes.
can you show me the code again?
Again, yes.
If present, then so we are making change. It's like update.
Yes.
Each of them should be updated. Okay.
This new value. New value I set na set the new name here, set the new
Right.
role here, and this object I'm going to update,
Right.
right? And once update done, just I return, hey, I return the again get from data, right?
Right.
What we say? Optional, okay. Uh, okay, later part we can remove the optional. Okay, as of now, okay. It's clear what we do.
Right.
I'm just first in update case, you have to do some extra stuff. First, you have to check the data exists or not, right? If data
Right.
present, then we update. Else you can say find data not found and just return something, right?
Right.
Null something, whatever. Okay? If data present, then you are update them. This is a condition in previously in the save, you have to just flat save. In the case of find by ID, just find by ID. Find all, find all. In this case, delete, just delete. But in the update, we have to like the condition, right? If and else,
Mm.
right? And let's start them.
So
Yes,
employee object equal to, can you go back? Okay. Employee object equal to existing employee dot get.
right.
That means you're getting uh,
Here,
employee object.
yes, here in whatever the data I receive here, in this optional, I have two options. Maybe data exists or data not exists. If data exists, then I can use the get operation to get data, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What is the data? This object return this value. This is the value. And in the same value, I can set the new value from here, this two value, right? I don't want to
Right.
change the name, so I cannot. I only can change name, can change roll number. I cannot change the ID, right? So only I
Right.
set two fields. These two fields you can set. Only change the name or role. You cannot change the ID part, right?
Right.
So let's check it. So let's check all the employees. I have to get. This is the all the employee I'm 5 I'm getting, right? This is the all employee.
Right.
Let's say I want to change the employee 3. If you slash 3, just let's get 3. So this is the employee third. Employee third. Paul. This is the name is the Paul. Because I want to instead of tester, I want to change to developer. Okay?
Right.
So previously, if this endpoint return Paul as a tester, and let's same as a database. Okay. This is my database URL. This is my database URL. Where is the URL? This is. Check the database as well, right? This will change, right?
Right.
So this is my database URL. Refresh them and just pass the latest and connect them and see here. Here I am going to change this. Currently, Paul as a tester. I am going to change the developer, right? I want to update the record 3. So I am going to say, hey, this is the now not get. I am going to put, right? And here say
Right.
all and developer. Just send them, right? And let's check here. Run them again. Paul developer, right? This record is updated. Is clear?
Right.
Now, if you get again as a here, now here you can Paul is developer, right? Or you can get all. You're getting the all. You're getting the all the record, right? Now here 3 Paul is a developer, right?
So can you change another one?
Anyone you can change. Let's here we are going to the change like a fourth. Jim
Four.
as a doctor. Just change. I want to go. Hey, I want to put here. I should be like a 4, right? And
Four.
name should be here like Jim. I want to change the. This is the name Jim, and this was previously this was the doctor, right? So I want
Yeah.
to change them as a software engineer, right?
Right.
Let's I change here software developer. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Him now change from doctor to the software developer, right? Let's put them. Updated record get here, and even you can check on this here, run query, and this is updated, right?
Right.
And even you can get all the data here, employee, and you can get Jim change. Okay. Even you want to remove, you can delete them. You want to just ID delete them, right? So
Right.
these are the basic. You can say, let's say I want to check the delete work or not, right? Delete. So
Right.
I can say, hey, I want to ID4 to delete. So in this browser, I have not any option to send. In this browser, only you can set the get operation. Check the get. But put post delete, you have to go again. Postman are different tool. Maybe curl have a option, Swagger have a option, right? So here I'm going to say I'm going to delete op method, and I want to delete employee 4. 4 means Jim. Just send them. 4 is the deleted, and let's check here. Return even h2 here database. Run this again. No 4 is deleted, right?
Right.
Here also check the 4 should be not come. 4 is not come, right? Even you want to only check by one ID, I want to check 2, so only 2 recall call, right? So in this
Right.
way, all operations till now we have a understand how in a Spring Boot you can develop basic create endpoint. Okay, this is the basic create endpoint. Maybe create means post endpoint. Put endpoint means update. Maybe delete endpoint. You want to get specific ID basis, get one, get by ID. Or similarly, get all, this is the get all record. So if we are using our framework, developing APIs is a very, very simple thing, right? Because
Right.
all the business logic to connect it to the database, writing query, updating, all the taken care by your framework code itself. In the current case, this is our JPA repository is solve all your problem, right? So notice in this whole up, you can say develop you complete one application that support all the CRUD operation. CRUD means is sometimes say this is the CRUD operation, right? CRUD, CRUD. CRUD means create, read, update, delete, right?
Right.
Sometimes say, hey, can you just develop one microservice for CRUD operation? CRUD means create, okay? Create, read, update, and delete. Okay.
Yeah.
Here read means get operation. Here read means you can say get. So let's do practice to developing CRUD operation in the REST API. Eh? CRUD REST API you can say. Okay. CRUD REST
Yeah. This one will
REST
take me a while to. This one is
REST
little
API
long. Yeah.
or CRUD operation. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
This application that we developed is very nice example.
Huh, very here you can depend upon the in this application we are doing lots of enhancement later part available, but these are the basic for developing generally these four operation always because
Okay.
these
Okay. I
are
see. I see.
the most probably use the operation like get, post, put, delete. Mostly
Delete that.
these are the operations used. Some additional operation like here patch, head, option. They are specific use case they are going to use, but these are the not most frequently used, right?
Right. Right.
But whenever you talk about REST is the basic standard to implement these HTTP method. What is all are these? These are the HTTP method. HTTP is a protocol. This protocol defines a method: get, put, post. So these standard methods we develop application by a Spring Boot to implement the application, right?
Right.
So what here we learn today we learn whenever you on the server startup, you want to store some data in your database, right? Default master data, right? Some
Right.
specific data you want to store. You have to use this configuration, your configurations and bean. In bean, we have to use specific interface, the command line interface. Notice in the command line in Java also the command line input you can pass to your application, right? Whenever you're running a command line code, in the main argument you can pass some parameter, right? So similarly,
Right.
so same name come here command line argument. This is the interface. This is the interface. So we implemented via lambda function, right? So in lambda
So
function, hey,
command line runner. So that means it will run at the command at the beginning.
at the beginning, at the server startup, okay? So here I say, ki,
Mm.
hey, this is my five employee. This five employee here currently I'm hard coded, but this data you can get from your Excel, your file, your anywhere, right? From where you have some master data, right?
Right.
So this
Right.
master data I read and say, hey, save all method. You just save all the employee. So here we are in the repository. Repository kya is the JPA. Our here instead of say employee rename it to employee JPA repository. Just for the sake, this is the employee JPA repository, right? Just for reading. So your
Right.
employee JPA, what is this? What is this? Employee your JPA repository. Rename, rename. It would be good just for talking about, right? JPA repository. JPA. JPA repository. Okay. So we are using the JPA repository to save my master data in the database. So question is that this JPA repository, how know where I am going to put this data, which table I am going to put. So you say, hey, I created this interface. This interface already I tell you this is a table name and this is my primary key, right?
Right.
Good. And similarly, just rename this to the just for reading purpose. Okay,
Right.
this is the JPA repository. Clear? Any doubt, any confusion? Study last class we just cover only one endpoint like a get, and today we cover three more endpoint. You can say four more endpoint. Uh,
Right.
Post, put, and delete three more endpoint. Right?
Right.
Most probably this is the sufficient for developing application. Don't generally we are not going to more than that. Some specific use cases where these operations are going to use like this is the patch and option and head.
Right, right.
There is specific use case, but general application development for you, it's four operation like a put post and get delete is sufficient.
Correct, correct. Yeah.
So let's do practice, and it's very huge, nothing here. Okay, and in the same application, we'll do more enhancement, right?
On the
Till
same
now,
application.
maybe same, maybe you can download, you can start in the.
Oh,
But this is the at least this code you can I just uploaded in my blog as well as you can find out, right? Not an issue. And each and everything good option, whatever I am teaching, each and everything well documented available in this Spring documentation side itself. Whatever I'm
okay.
talking,
Yes, yes.
nothing is special. Because we are learning Spring Boot, so we have to follow all the guidelines which Spring Boot support, right? You cannot do any extra which not the support, right?
Right, right.
So be keep in mind each and everything available. Just you keep some time. They have already noticed they have a one video recorded here. They have a complete whatever you did like here. We entity class created same class. Similarly, we have created your equal hash code method. Similarly, we created your GPA repository. Similarly, we created your here just given the name payroll management. I given the employee management system, right? Name you can give any,
Right,
right?
right.
Later part you created this command line runner to store they have a store two data only. I can data store five data, right? And
Right.
similarly this is all the endpoint they created. Get all, uh, post, put, all this endpoint. Here also they have a find not found. In the case of update you have to write condition, if found then, if not found then, right?
Right.
Similarly like for here each and everything here place, I'm not writing anything. They have more things, we cannot cover all the everything here, right? They have lots of things here. Okay, don't go, but later part we can cover. Surely we cannot cover one tutorial in one day, right?
Okay, okay. I see, I see. Yeah.
But this is for initially work, this is sufficient for you.
Right, right.
Okay, so almost you can say you can just practice these 2 3 4 times and you are feel comfortable to developing REST API and basic CRUD operation. It's good for the day.
That's good for the day for sure.
If you have a, let's practice, any doubt, any question, we can discuss them, right?
Sure.
Take care.
Thank, thank you. Bye.